Why not?
What's up, everyone? I'm Coach D, and first of all, I want to thank you guys for all the support you've been giving me. My subscriber numbers have been going up. I thought for a second there's no way I could get to 200,000 subscribers by February of next year. That would be the 1-year anniversary of me hitting 100,000 subscribers. But because of you guys, because you guys have been liking, you've been sharing, you've been commenting, you've been subscribing, it looks like we're going to hit that goal. So I just wanted to let you guys know how much I appreciate your support, your dialogue, and everything that you bring to this channel. Okay. This one, it's going to piss you guys off. I mean, I can't put it any other way. It's really going to piss you off. Imagine for a second, you have a business that has been in your family for 150 years. 150 years, that business has been passed down through multiple generations. And now, in that 150th or so year, because of the decisions you and your dumbass brother made, you now are going to lose that business. And you are now going to unemploy 50 people or more. Imagine that for a second, because that is the exact story. That is the true story of Wilson Jones and his brother who own a sawmill in North Carolina. When they are asked, why did you decide to just end this business? Why did this business go belly up? They admit it's because of Trump's tariffs. It's because of his tariffs and the retaliatory tariffs that came on them because of Donald Trump's tariffs. They will tell you that right from their mouths.
For American hardwood, the reciprocal tariffs got as high as 125%.
What took you over the edge here? What caused you to shut this down?
Honestly, the market conditions in relation to the retaliatory tariffs that we have in China, they put the final nails in the coffin.
Yes, the retaliatory tariffs because of Donald Trump's dumbass Liberation Day. Remember the day he sat in the Oval Office sometime around late March, early April, and he said, it's about to be Liberation Day. Then he said, we're going to recover the money that has been stolen from us by all of these other countries, as well as people who sat at this desk before me. Of course, he's talking about Joe Biden and Barack Obama because everything is their fault. So then he says, we're going to impose tariffs on all of these countries. But don't worry, it's not going to affect you guys at all. We're not going to pay the tariffs. Those countries are going to eat the tariffs. Don't worry. We're going to be ushering in the golden age of America. We're going to be taking in trillions of dollars because of these tariffs. You're all going to be rich because of these tariffs. Those tariffs are why this sawmill is now out of business and people are unemployed. So they asked these guys, if Donald Trump were to pull up here right now, what would you have to say to him? And they said, oh, I'd probably cuss at him. And then I'd say, what the hell? But then I would also say to him, I know what you're trying to do here. I get it. We get it. But you're hurting a lot of us. There are a lot of people hurting because of you, Mr. Trump. Remember that. They'd cuss at him and say, what the hell? But at the same time, they would understand exactly what he's trying to do.
If President Trump pulled up here today and you walked him into the sawmill, what would you tell him?
Well, I'd like to say, what the heck? Actually, I'd like to say about 9 different expletives. But, President Trump, gee, I understand what you're trying to do, but you're on a fool's mission. And you're not helping out a few. You're hurting a lot. If you put all these little communities together from Maine over to Michigan down to Mississippi and Alabama, it's having the same effect on these small little communities. From the guy that's just stacking lumber to the guy that's sawing, don't even care about the guy that's the mill owner. What about those guys?
The White House did not respond to a request for comment.
Of course the White House didn't respond to a request for comment. They don't give a damn about these people and their sawmills or their damn factories. And you heard him say, if you take all of these communities, all these little companies with sawmills and different types of factories, and you bring them all together, they're all being hurt. And the numbers show that. There's been like 42,000 jobs lost in these type of service industries because of the tariffs. They're all happening because of the tariffs. But you know, if we're doing an FAFO video, you know what happens. You know what happens next. They asked the guy, who'd you vote for? How many times did you vote for him? And he said, voted for Trump all 3 times. That means he voted for him in 2016 and saw farmers and other people in the same industry as him get affected by him and said, you know what? I'm voting for him again in 2020. And then when he lost, and this guy, he understands something. He kept his factory during the Biden administration. He's losing it now during the Trump administration. But yeah, he voted for him. He and his brother both voted for him 3 times.
As the brothers criticized Trump's trade policies, Sean asked them if they voted for him and for those trade policies to begin with.
I voted for Trump because there wasn't an alternative. I mean, at all.
Did you vote for him all the way back to 2016?
I voted for Trump all 3 times.
Did you?
Yep, I did. But I literally was in the voting booth, and I wrapped my knuckles, and the Trump one hurt more, and that was the one that I voted for. Because it was so disgusting. And I hate to say that, but that's literally how I made that choice.
I've told you guys many times, if you go back to news clippings in 2018 and 19, you will see that farmers and factories were going through the exact same thing that they're going through today. These people just didn't care because it didn't affect them. Of course they saw farmers suffering. Of course they saw other factories suffering. But they didn't care because they still had their business. So they voted for Donald Trump a 2nd time. Then he lost, and then they voted for him a 3rd time. And now they're losing their business because they ignored all the suffering and pain going on with other people. That and the racism. Understand, it always comes back to the racism, the sexism, the misogyny, the hate and bigotry. It's always that. Because if you thought it was bad enough that they voted for him 3 times, if you thought it was bad enough that this guy just said, if you take all of these businesses, you know they're all hurting. All of these people, we are losing so many factories, so many sawmills, so many people are becoming unemployed. You heard him say that. So this guy asked him, okay, having known all of this, now that you know this, you know that your business is going to be gone because you voted for Donald Trump. Do you regret that vote? Would you vote for him again? They say yes. They say yes. Absolutely yes.
Okay, so you voted for the man. You both voted for the man. The man's policies have contributed to you going out of business. Do you have any regrets about voting for the man?
There are some things I regret about voting for President Trump. Yes, 100%. Trade policy is one of them, even though that I wish he could have moderated his tone. Well, I understand you have to do one thing to get elected and then something else, but I wish it hadn't have turned out that way. That being said, given the 2 people running, regardless of what they said on the campaign trail, I would have voted for President Trump again.
I don't necessarily have regrets. I mean, it came out that that's what he was going to fight for. And knowingly that would affect us probably because the only place to really ship a volume of lumber was either Vietnam or China. And, so it's going to affect us. But I don't, outside of not voting, I don't think I had a choice to vote any other direction. I don't like the way we're going about immigration strategy, if you will, but something had to be done to control our borders, I think. That's being accomplished now. Having ICE and everything else, I get tired. I don't even watch the news anymore. just because it's the same thing over and over again. Kind of like insanity.
We don't hate these people enough. I'm being honest with you. We don't hate people like this enough because these people deserve all the fucking hate. What did they think Kamala Harris was going to do? You lost your business. You know other people are losing their businesses. You know people are going unemployed, possibly starving. And you said, I had no other choice. And like I said, it always comes back to the racism. What did they think Kamala Harris was going to do that they're okay with people losing their jobs, them losing their business, and they still wouldn't have voted for her? We don't hate these people enough. We really don't. I do not care about these people at all. I care about the people who worked for those businesses who are now out of a job because they had two of the dumbest bosses in the history of this country. And there's so many like them. They really said they would vote for him again. They didn't have any other choice. Then he says, I don't really like how we're going about the immigration status, but something had to be done. Do you know when you poll these people and ask them, how much are they affected by immigrants in their daily lives? They can't ever point to any situation. They've fallen for the bullshit that the right serves to them on Fox News every single day. I live in California. Which, according to everyone outside of California, it's the bastion of communism and, sanctuary cities are ruining everything and all this. And I promise you, these people are my students. They're my athletes. They're my neighbors. They're not doing anything to you. They're not. And the reason why he says, I can't even watch the news anymore because of the ICE and all, he knows it's horrible what they're doing. He knows what we're seeing from ICE agents every day is horrible. So instead of him saying, I wouldn't vote for him again because of those things, I wish they would stop, I will do everything now to stop ICE from doing this, he says, I just turn it off. I just don't pay attention to it. If I don't see it, it doesn't affect me. I don't care, but I'd vote for the guy again. It's always the racism. It's always the fucking racism. I'm telling you guys, they're not doing anything to you. They want the same things you want. They want the American dream. They want the best for their families. They brought their kids here to get the best life, to escape all the things you're trying to accuse them of doing. Donald Trump said, we're going to go after the people in the prisons, all this. They haven't done that. They've gone after regular people who are trying to accomplish the same thing in life that you are. We do not hate these people enough. I promise you, they deserve all the hate. I hope they get the worst. I hope they can't celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving because they have nothing. I wish the worst on these people because they chose to vote for someone just because they wanted to see what's happening to them happen to everyone else. That's what they wanted. They didn't care about families being, separated from each other, people being deported places that they don't have any relationship with. They didn't care about any of that. We don't hate them enough. We need to hate them more. Period.
Don't want no enemies or ops. Envy in their heart, I tell them stop. Vacation on the yacht.